Hi everyone, today I'm going to start a new series. I'm going to take this old RSS 29er. I'm going to do some upgrades, some improvements. I got this thing 6 years ago, made just a few improvements, like put a better crank on it, a saddle, a carbon seat post, and carbon handlebars. I did all that, and I haven't touched it since. So after 6 years of riding it in this configuration, I'm going to finally do some upgrades. So where are we going to start? We're going to start with this rigid fork. This is a carbon tube rigid fork. It's similar to the White Brothers design. This is a brand called Exotic. What do you need to know for upgrading a fork? Well, first you need to know what wheel size. I hope you know what your front wheel size is. Second of all, how much travel do you want? So this is a hardtail. It's an old school hardtail. So we're probably talking appropriate fork size would be like 100 millimeter, 80 millimeter. Another thing you'll need to know if this is a straight steer or tapered steer. If you look at the bottom, it's fatter than the top. Good chance that it's a tapered steer. This one is the same, both top and bottom. So this is a 1 1/8 straight steer tube. The last thing you'll need to know, how much length are you going to need on your steer tube? So steer tube goes from the top of the crown to just under the top of the stem. So to figure that out, you need a measuring thing, tape measure. So top of the crown, top of here, 190. But I have this spacer here. So you need to measure the spacer too. 20 millimeter. So 190 minus the spacer, 20, 170 millimeters. That is the shortest steer tube that we could possibly fit on this bike. So what kind of fork can you put on there? Well, you have to find a fork that matches what you have and what you want. So I'm gonna go for 100 to 80 millimeter fork for a 29er. 1 1/8 straight steer, 170 millimeter steer tube minimum length. Straight steer tube forks are kind of hard to find. There are some new ones out there like the Manitou Marcor. I think they're kind of hard to get right now. You can ask your friends if they have, your straight steer tube fork laying around. I decided to go the route of searching through eBay. I've been looking for a couple of months now, and I finally found one that I liked. So what we have here is a Fox F29. This is a 80 mil travel fork, and you can see it says G2 geometry. That means it came off a Trek, because Trek had the G2 geometry. I think that just meant I forget what it is. The fork offset was different than what the standard is at the time. Anyway, this is pretty good shape. I know the rebound adjuster feels a little gritty, but this is an RLC, which means rebound control, has lockout, and C, compression control. So before I send this off to my fork guy, I'm gonna mount this up and give it a try. So this steer is actually a little under 170 millimeters, so it should work, I hope. Okay, Exotic rigid fork, 818 grams, Fox F29, ooh. Chonky, 1,752 grams. So that wasn't too hard. Pretty simple. Steer did fit, so I'm happy about that. I'm gonna ride this tomorrow morning, and I will let you know what I think of it. The only real hiccup was getting that lower race off the rigid fork. All right, in a complete non-surprise, the fork takes the edge out of all the bumps and roots. It is a little heavier. Things I'm gonna have to get used to. The extra weight, not a surprise. And also the brake dive, which I forgot about with suspension bikes. So, in conclusion, is it an improvement? Yes, I think. Jury's still out on that. Okay, something I forgot to mention. I think the sagged height of this fork is a bit shorter than my rigid fork. Every time I do a drop, or if there's a dip down, feels like I'm about to go over the bars. I'm not used to that. So I'm gonna have to check that when I get home. 475 millimeters, 490 millimeters, 18 millimeters, like 472. So it's about the same. So there you have it. Squishy fork, on my single speed. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Be kind to each other. Is this a straight steerer?